but
He's trying to get you.
I know I got to get him down here so he doesn't.
Okay, get down there.
Oh, no.
What's that?
He's after me, man. We gotta get down here.
Get out of here. Well, hey there guys, we just finished up a couple of days in the Florida Keys. We drove from Key Largo out to Key West, spent a full day there and did some fun things, and then we did a few things on our way back to the mainland.
Yeah, we have always wanted to go to the Florida Keys, but it is such a long drive from
Man,
anywhere.
It's out there.
But since we're at the Everglades, it was a perfect time to just drive on down and see what the Keys had to offer.
Yeah, it was amazing. We drove in on late Friday afternoon. We got to Key West, checked out a couple of beaches.
Right. We went to Smathers Beach and Higgs Beach, which were local city beaches.
Yeah.
And they were beautiful. They were a little bit dirty because of the storm that had come through, but there's still that beautiful blue-green color.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. We didn't get to spend a whole lot of time there because we did need to check in to our Airbnb. And little did we know that as beautiful as they were just like appetizers for the main attraction beach that we would be seeing on Saturday. So after we left those beaches, we did go check in at our Airbnb.
Yeah, we chose to rent an Airbnb because it's so expensive and hard to find a campsite anywhere along in the Keys. So we did find an Airbnb. We rented just a room in a historic building, which turned out to be really neat.
It was really cool.
It was it had a shared hallway, and then you went out on had a deck. It was really neat, overlooking Duval Street, and we just spent some time out there. We hardly ever even saw anybody in the other room, so it was a nice place for us.
Yeah, and it is on Duval Street, the quiet end of Duval Street. And Duval Street, if you're not familiar with Key West, is kind of the hub of Key West. It is the place where all the restaurants and the shops and entertainment, it's basically the place to be if you're going to be in Key West. And so we were on the quiet end of that, which was good for us because the other end of it towards Mallory Square, which we'll talk about in a bit, it was quite chaotic and crazy.
It was.
Unknown to us, really, we didn't even plan on this. It ended up being St. Patrick's Day that we ended up being there for the weekend, and so it got a little crazy after dark, which we were glad to go back to the
much too crazy for
quiet
us.
end.
But it was kind of interesting watching out on the balcony. We could see different forms of transportation. We chose to walk everywhere, but there were bicycles and rental golf carts and mopeds and scooters.
There was even a petty bike,
pedicab,
where somebody would pedal a bike with you in the back in a little carriage.
And it was very common. They were everywhere.
Common. And so after a restful night of sleep, we got up the next day fairly early to embark on a full day adventure in Key West, and that had to start out with some food.
Right. We went to the Breakfast Club too for breakfast because of a unique item on their menu. It was a pancake charcuterie.
14 mini pancakes with all kinds of toppings.
Oh, they had fruit, they had strawberries, blueberries, pineapples.
And then they had all kinds of spreads like peanut butter, Nutella, whipped cream, maple whipped cream. They had chocolate chips that you could put on top of it.
Syrup, of course.
Syrup, of course. It was delicious. In fact, when we first looked at it, the server told us, she said, there's no way you're going to be able to eat all this. It's more than two people can handle. And to be honest, we should have stopped way
Just
before we
didn't.
got done. But I told Paula, we've got to eat all this because we got to prove her wrong.
Right.
And we walked out of that place not feeling great.
But it was delicious.
It was delicious. And it did fuel us, I suppose, for the rest of the day.
Yeah, we didn't need any lunch that day.
We needed to go burn some calories. And I had told Paula, I said, if we're going to burn off all these calories, we're going to have to walk all the way back to Key Largo.
Right.
And so with our bellies full of food, we set out to burn off some of those calories by exploring the historic district. And our first spot was something that our Airbnb host recommended to us. And so we headed to Fort Zachary Taylor Historic State Park.
Yeah, it's divided into two areas. You have the beach and the fort. And let me tell you, they were both pretty amazing.
Awesome.
The beach was the most beautiful beach I've ever seen, I think. I think I literally can say that.
Was the best looking water I have ever seen in my life.
And the palm trees, everything about it was just picture perfect.
It looked quintessential tropic paradise.
It did.
I mean, it really did. And
it was amazing.
We enjoyed just hanging out there. I wish that we had had a full day where we could have just hung out in a hammock at the beach and chilled out there. But it was just everything that you would hope for in a beach.
And then the fort was really neat to explore too. It was a Civil War fort, and just walking by all the cannons and looking, it was a lot of fun to explore there too.
Yeah, and when you went out on the outside of the fort to the top level, you actually got a good looking view of the beach as well.
Did.
It was really cool. We love old forts. If you recall from our St. Augustine episode, we toured the fort that was there as well. We love to see that kind of stuff, and especially when it's in such an amazing setting like this one was. So highly recommend you go check that state park out. If you make it down to Key West, you will not regret it. I will say you probably need to plan on spending a whole day there because you're going to want to hang out.
Yeah. So when you visit Key West, there are a number of places you have to go to have your picture made.
Yeah, I think it's against the law if you don't get your pictures taken there. I think they'll give you a ticket.
Yeah, so we headed down to the southernmost point in the United States. It's only 90 miles from Cuba.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. When you got there, there was a long line of people waiting to get their photo taken there. And apparently it's like that all day long, every day.
But it's worth the wait.
Every day, yeah. So we did that. We got our picture at the mile 0 signpost. And the reason it's mile 0 is because
it runs all the way from Maine down to Key West.
Yeah,
so it's pretty amazing.
So it's either the beginning of the highway or it's the end of the highway, depending on which area you start at. We are going to head to Maine this fall, so we hope to be able to
find the other
end of that highway. And of course, Casa Marina was just another beautiful place to get your photograph done. All these are Instagram worthy. We don't have an Instagram account, but we do have YouTube, so they're video worthy as well. Right. And then one of the things that's interesting about Key West is the chickens.
Oh my goodness. Chickens, roosters especially, are everywhere.
They're everywhere. What do you think, Paula?
Roosters everywhere.
I don't even know where they came from.
I don't either.
Some people consider them a nuisance, and some people think that they're just awesome, that they're running around everywhere. We actually kind of enjoyed seeing them.
Yeah, but you can hear the roosters all day long. They're just running through the streets. They're just everywhere.
Hey, according to the roosters, it's 5 a.m. somewhere. And so they're going to wake people up all day long.
Right.
And there is a really cool lighthouse on Key West, the Key West Lighthouse. And we accidentally overheard somebody saying that the staircase up to the top was rickety, and that's all Paula needed to hear.
I wasn't going on rickety staircases.
It was game over for her. She was not going to go into the lighthouse, so I had to do that one solo. As it turns out, the staircase was not rickety.
And one more thing you have to do when you come to Key West is get some key lime pie.
You can't go to the Keys without key lime pie, right?
So we headed to Kermit's to get some key lime pie.
Yeah, we had a couple of different types of key lime pie. One was just your standard fare key lime pie, and it was delicious.
It was so good.
But the showstopper for me was the chocolate-covered frozen key lime pie.
I thought that was just some kind of a gimmick, but it was delicious.
I mean, it was the full pie. The crust, the filling, the whipped cream,
yeah.
Everything with a layer of chocolate on the outside and then frozen.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah, and they had a really neat little sitting area out back with
a nice little garden area that they had put together.
It was really
they had
cute.
some koi fish, and it was just a nice little place to relax.
We enjoyed sitting out there.
After being out in the sun all day. And so it was a nice, cool, refreshing thing before we headed into the evening at Mallory Square.
Right.
Now, Mallory Square is an area where people gather every single night of the year, 365 days of the year, to watch the sunset.
They do. They celebrate the sunset, and so we joined them.
We did. There were street performers that come out, and they do magic shows, and they have different kind of performances that they do, and then everybody watches the sunset.
And cheers when it sets.
There are sunset cruises there that go throughout the harbor. Just about every kind of boat that you can imagine is out there. It was a really, really cool way to end our day.
It was. And it was a beautiful sunset.
It was. And then we got another good night of sleep and got up the next morning, headed out really early for our return trip back to the mainland. We had 3 stops that we wanted to make on our way back to Key Largo.
Yeah, the first one was Bahia Honda State Park, and we wanted to check out the beaches and the bridge over the railroad trestle.
Yeah, that was a cool way to start out the day. From there, we headed to something that I was really excited about, and that is 7 Mile Bridge. 7 Mile Bridge, there's an old one and a new one.
Right. You drive over the new one, but then the old one has been turned into a bike or walking path, just 2.2 miles of it, and the rest of it's in disrepair.
Right.
But it's really neat.
Yeah, the 2.2 mile stretch that you take from Marathon Key out to Pigeon Key, and then of course return back.
Right.
Paula and I did that together. We walked it, and then I went back out and ran it for my daily run, and it was just really, really cool. We've been looking forward to that, just walking on that bridge and just enjoying the cool breeze coming off of that
It's
that
a really
water.
really neat experience.
It really is. Definitely want to stop doing that. There is limited parking there at Marathon Key, so you might have to kind of be a vulture and circle around a little bit waiting for someone to leave for a spot to open up, but it'll be definitely worth the wait.
And one other thing that
This
we were
is the
told
thing
you have to do if you go to the Key. You have to go to Robbie's and you have to feed the tarpon.
And it was an experience, wasn't it?
It was much more fun than I thought it would be.
He's eyeballing us. Watch it, look at him. He'll fight you. Ay, ay, ay.
I know, but
He's trying to get you.
I know I got to get him down here so he doesn't.
Okay, get down there.
Oh no!
What's that?
He's after me, man. We gotta get down here.
Get out of here. Get. Just feed him. Get in there and feed him.
Just let him drop.
Look at that shark. Look at that shark. Did you see him?
Sometimes they'll jump up and sometimes they'll go.
That scared me a bit. What just happened? It sounds kind of silly when you first hear it. People were like, oh, you need to go do this. And we were like, I don't know. We'll do it because it's a touristy thing to do. And we had a blast.
You go and you get a bucket of fish and you feed the tarpon and the pelicans will try to get you.
There are pelicans out there everywhere, and they found out that this is a good feeding spot. And then, of course, some people violate the rules and feed the pelicans anyway, and so they're super aggressive. They will come at you.
And then the tarpon, they would jump right up and get the fish. And then there was a shark in there.
There was a shark down in there that came along with them.
It was a lot of fun.
I mean, it was just a great way to wrap up our time in the Keys.
Wait, what about getting our picture made in the big chairs at Key Largo?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Another touristy thing you got to do is stop at the visitor center back in Key Largo and get your picture taken in their
big
gigantic
chair.
Right. We just had a really, really amazing time in the Keys. It was all that we hoped it would be.
It was.
Would have liked to have spent a full week there.
Yeah.
But for the day and a half that we had, it was a lot of fun.
It was.
Speaking of fun, we've got some brand new adventures that we're going to take on next in Central Florida. So we hope you guys will stick around for that.
That's it for our mission. What's your mission?
Hello. What is happening? Okay. Aggressive behavior. And our first stop is to get something to eat for breakfast.
Yeah, we're at the Breakfast Club 2, and can't remember what I was saying.
Last one.
Okay.
You getting a shot at me too? Yeah, if we're gonna burn off all those calories, we're gonna have to walk all the way back to Key Largo.
Well, hey there guys, it's Jimmy here. Our mission in every episode of this vlog is to share one of our fun-filled adventures with you guys. But our greater mission in life is to share our hope and happiness with you. One of the ways we do this is by giving away digital copies of my book, There is Joy for You, which we believe will help you in your own spiritual journey. You can get it at no cost by dropping by jimmybrown.com, scrolling down to the book, and clicking on the download button to read it on your favorite device. There is no list to join and no price to pay. It's just our way of trying to be a blessing to you. It's only 39 pages long, so it won't take you long to read it. I hope you'll check it out. You want it, I want it, we all want it. The good news is God wants us to have it too. There is joy for you.